Hi, hello, how are you? Welcome in and welcome back. We are doing a Halloween craft today that I'm probably going to leave out all year because these are just absolutely adorable. And I've seen them on my For You page on Instagram. I've also seen versions of them on my YouTube newsfeed for shorts that come up. So I'm going to attempt it today. I've never done anything like this, and I've seen a lot of different versions of these. So I'm going to kind of do my own version. So what I'm going to be using is this air dry clay. Now this is a big tub. It is a 5-pound tub of air dry clay. I did order this from Amazon, and I have intentions for lots of uses for this, not just for what I'm making today, but I have already used this for the spooky book that I made for the bookshelf. I have some plans for maybe some mushrooms later on, but today we're going to be making ghosts. So what else are we going to be using? I've never done this before, so I'm just kind of winging it. I did get some cling wrap to put over what I'm going to use to mold my little ghost. I'm gonna make 4, so I have 4 of these. I stole some of Dave's golf balls. Sorry, honey. And also stole some of his decorative shot glasses that he has in his man cave. We're going to use this to mold the air dry clay. I'm going to put some of the saran wrap over this so that the clay doesn't stick to all this. And I also have a roller. Let me pan down so you can kind of see what I'm working with. So I have some wax paper set out here, and this is a roller. So we're gonna roll out the clay with this. But this roller came with these little doohickeys here. What you do with these is you slide them on the ends, and when you're rolling out, it gives you, I don't know how much that is, probably, I don't know, not very much. So what I think I'm going to do is stack up some popsicle sticks on the side here to kind of give me some more height, because I want my clay to be, I don't know, I would say like an inch. So I'm going to go downstairs and get me some rubber bands. I'm going to rubber band these together and put them on the side, so that when I'm rolling the, and the clay on top of these, so it gives me proper clearance. So I'm going to do that really quick. Also, I have a lot of different clay tools that I ordered from Amazon, and I chose these 3 because they are pointy on the ends. I'm going to use one of these, whichever one works the best, to carve out my eyes and my mouth for my little ghost. And that is all that I think I'm going to need for this craft, at least for today, because this is just going to be the drying portion of this project. We're going to mold them. We're going to leave them to dry for at least 24 hours. This does say that it can take up to 2 to 3 days to fully dry. So we want them to fully dry before we paint them. And then when we paint them, of course, we're going to be painting them white, like the proper ghosts that they are. And I'm thinking of probably embellishing them, of course, like I always do. You guys know I love embellishing things. I've gone downstairs and got some of my little hair ties. And I'm going to start out with 4 of these. I'm just going to put the hair ties on each end. I don't think you need both of these on here. I'm just putting them on there just because. I'm going to set those out of the way. All right. I think that's good. Now, I'm going to get out a big hunk of this. All right. So, as you can tell, I have a lot. A whole lot. This is pretty messy. This may be too much. I don't know. Like I said, I've never done this before. I'm going to get some water and put it in my water picture. That is going to be to smooth out any cracks that form. But since my hands are going to be filthy, I'm going to go ahead and get that now. So let me go run and get that real quick. So basically, all I'm going to do is just start flattening this out. I just want one big circular shape. I'm going to start rolling. It's not going to be perfect. Nothing that I do is. All right, let me put those to the side. Maybe I don't need those. I mean, the goal is to just get it as evenly one level. You don't want it to be really bumpy as possible. Okay, I'm gonna be brave and take these off and just kind of try to flatten it out a little bit better. All right, so we're gonna take our shot glass and our golf ball. I'm gonna tear off some saran wrap. And we're just going to cover this. And this is just so the clay does not stick to this. All right, and I'm just going to drape it over. Now, what we are going to do is kind of mold it with the pleats. Because we're trying to make it look like a ghostie with a sheet on. See how he has a lot of cracks? We're going to dip our paintbrush in here and you just kind of paint and you can smooth out those cracks. You can use your fingers. You're just trying to get it as smooth as you possibly can. This is what I have got. I think it looks pretty darn good. Now, the back, as you can see, is kind of shorter than the front. I don't know how this little ghostie is going to sit once it's dry. We'll see. But I think it's probably going to sit wonky. So I'm going to put the face in the front. I'm just going to use this pointy end and I'm going to try to show you the best that I can. I'm going to poke two little eyeballs and kind of wiggle them around, and you can kind of smooth out the clay with a paintbrush. I'm going to make this one just a tiny bit bigger here. All right, did we stop with just eyeballs or should I make a mouth? I think I'm going to make a mouth. Why not? Let's do it. All right, there we go. We're just going to set him aside and let him dry. All right, so we've got one done. Let's move on to the next one. All right, I'm going to turn on my podcast here and keep ghosting. I did the second ghost a little bit different than I did the first one. I did roll it out the same way, but I took one of my tools and just wanted a perfect circle around so that when I put it on my little golf ball makeshift mold thingy, it's more spherical so that hopefully, my hope was when it dries, it's more level as far as the circumference so that it sits correctly on a surface. And if you're wondering what podcast I'm listening to the Magic and Alchemy podcast by Tamed Wild. I've really been enjoying that podcast recently, and it's all I've been listening to while I'm crafting. Either that or my witchy music. The first step for the little ghost is done. I think they're going to turn out really, really good, especially for my first time. I'm very proud of them, and I'm going to show you in a second. I did only make 3. I was going to make 4, but I'm going to stop at 3. Just kind of see how these turn out, because I don't want to waste the clay if they don't turn out to be as majestic as I think they're going to turn out to be. But let me show you the 3 little ghosts. They are so adorable. All right, here we go. I made mouths on this little guy and this little guy. Just eyeballs on this one. Now, I don't know how they're gonna sit once they are dry. They are not symmetrical at all. We're gonna see, but I hope they turn out to be as cute as I think they're going to. I mean, look at this little guy. I did kind of mess up on his little pleats there, so I just kind of tore a little bit to make it look kind of frilly. Got this one here, this one here. I think they're gonna turn out to be really cute. Hello, it is like 2 days later. I'm gonna show you how the ghost fared, and I think it's okay for my first time. I'm gonna set you up on the tripod and we're gonna take a look at them. I have my little station set up here because we're gonna paint these little ghosties with gesso, however you say this. Now, if you watched, I have to find a paintbrush. One thing at a time, Tiffany. One thing at a time. If you watched my video of the spooky book that I made for the bookcase, I did sculpt a tree trunk and a tree branch out of clay, and I did some research, and it says that anytime you are working with air dry clay or oven baked clay, whatever type of clay, you want to paint a layer of gesso or gesso, however you say this, onto your piece, because clay is very porous. So any type of paint that you paint on it, the clay is going to soak the paint up. So this kind of gives you a protective layer if you are going to paint your piece, which we are going to do. Let me show you the ghost. I'll show you the best one first, and then I'll move on to the other 2. Okay, first we have this little guy. He is the one that turned out, and it is focusing on my eyeballs. He is the one that turned out the best. He has no cracks on him whatsoever, and I was able to get the golf ball out of him with no problem. I don't know why I'm calling them he's. They could be she's. I don't know. Ghosties. That's what they are. I also like how this little ghostie sits. So this one is the one that turned out, I think, the best. Now, as you can see, the clay is pretty thick, so it did take these a full 2 days to dry. The second ghostie, can you tell? I kind of had to do some surgery work to him. Her ghostie. So he cracked pretty heavily, especially back here when I went to go take the golf ball out of him. Also cracked on his noggin a little bit there. If you watched the video with the spooky book, the tree branch and the tree trunk that I did also cracked, which I think is pretty common with this air dry clay. I mean, it's Crayola clay. It's not the highest quality out there of clay, but the cracks didn't really matter too much to me. But this one back here was pretty good. I mean, it kind of, if you can kind of follow the crack, it kind of cracked here and then cracked all the way down there. So I didn't want it to fall apart, so I did super glue it together. Overall, for my first time, I think he turned out good too. Now, if I do this again, which I'm pretty sure I'm gonna do this again because I really think they're adorable. They're so cute. I think I might kind of let them semi-dry and then take them off of the little mold that I made, so that way the clay doesn't fully dry around the golf ball and I'm able to easily get the golf ball out. Now this one's cute too. I love all my ghosties equally. But he also, come on, stop focusing on my eyeballs. I know, camera, you're doing what you're supposed to do, but as you can see, he cracked pretty good. Cracked pretty good. It's got, you know, cracks on his noggin as well. I did squirt some super glue down in there, but I couldn't get the golf ball out of this ghostie. If I were to pull that golf ball out, it would break completely. So this one is just gonna have a permanent golf ball noggin. The reason that I wanted them all hollow is because I do want to put either lights up in them or set them on top of a tea light. Not an actual tea light candle. I would not do that because that would be a fire hazard. So yeah, I'm just gonna go to town painting these ghosties with the gesso. All right, I am back again with these little ghosties with the mosties. And I am gonna try to paint a little bit of the inside with the gesso so that I can protect them from that end too, because they are a little crackly. I'm gonna get me a big old paintbrush and I'm going to go to town with the gesso. All right, I am back again another day with the little ghosties. So I'm going to be painting them, and I'm going to choose this milky white is what it's called. It kind of looks like almost like a beigey white. So I'm going to do that, but I wanted to give you guys a tip. I keep all of my egg cartons for painting. Now these, I don't know if you can tell, they have tiny little holes on the outside, and I'm sure that's for some kind of, I don't know, purpose. I turned my glue gun on because what I'm going to do is I'm going to cover these two little holes on the side so that the paint doesn't run out. But I take my X-Acto knife and I'm just using, you know, this one color, so I don't need the whole thing. So I just took my X-Acto knife and cut one little section off. And I'm going to cover those holes so that the paint doesn't run out, and then we're going to get to painting. Okay, we're going to go ahead and put our paint in here. It's just a little bit more beige than the white that's on the ghost. These little ghosties are dry-ish, dry enough for me to move on to the next step. I am going to lay some wax paper over here so I can kind of put them over there to dry. So I'm going to do that real quick. I have me another paintbrush and some Mod Podge. If you're wondering, this light is my magnifying light. I can see better with it on there. I'm sorry if the glow bothers you. I have 3 different patterns of napkins, so I am going to use one of each for the 3 ghosties. I love these napkins. I think they're so pretty. I got all these napkins at Home Goods. I love this one. I love the scalloped edge, and on the back it's got like the gold leaf. Love it. Okay, so what we are going to do is we're going to open these up. Now we're not going to be using the whole napkin. We're just going to be using a portion of it. We are going to separate the backing like so. Now, I don't throw anything away when it comes to crafts, so I'm going to keep this because you can always use it for something. And I am going to pick out just like a little design here and cut around it. Doesn't have to be perfect. This is what we're left with. And I'm not sure which ghost I'm going to put it on yet, but I'm going to do the same for this one and for this one. So what we're gonna do, I'm gonna work on this little guy first because this is the one that still has the golf ball up inside of it. So I'm gonna move these two little guys out of the way. I think I want to use this design on him. I'm gonna try to cover the crack that's on him. Yeah, this is the one that has the big crack on it. So I'm gonna try to cover that up. Just gonna open, oh my gosh, my Mod Podge here. And of course, the technique that you use anytime you're doing anything like this with Mod Podge is you paint a layer of the Mod Podge first to kind of give you a sticky surface. You lay your napkin down on top of that and then paint over it with more Mod Podge to kind of decoupage the napkin onto your surface. This is what we've got. So adorable. I think I might add some more. Let's do it. Why not? We have it. No, just may as well. Because that is adorable. Cut around it. So I think I'm going to stop there with him and move on to the next ghostie. So adorable. Okay, I'm going to put this one over here to dry. We've got one more to do. We've got this little ghostie left. He's probably my favorite. I love how his folds turned out. And he's got a big enough base where I can put like a little battery operated tea light in it. Okay, and I have got this little ghostie all finished. I'm gonna set her over here with the other ones to finish drying, and then we will take them downstairs and find homes for them. Okay, all my little ghosties are dry, so it's time to set them up. I'm gonna put this little ghostie here. Now this is the one that still has the golf ball inside. And then this one, I'm gonna turn on this tea light. Now you probably won't be able to see it very well during the day, but I'm gonna set that up there on the top. And I'm gonna set this little ghostie right here front and center. Let me turn the light off just to see if we can see any glow. Oh, yes we can. Perfection. Now the third ghostie, I will take you upstairs and show you where I'm going to put that one. And for my final ghostie, now remember this one is my favorite one because of the way the folds look and how I was able to shape them in the clay. I've got my little tea light here, and this little ghostie, this one is going to live in my bookcase. Now, when Halloween is over, I may have the other three live in the bookcase too, but this one is going to move in right now. So let's find the perfect spot for this ghostie, and I'm going to turn on all my lights because I'm going to be up here in the craft room for the rest of the day, and I just like to look over here in the bookshelf since it's done now. Oh my gosh, guys, I love it. I think that right here beside my old books is the perfect place. So let me turn on my little tea light, and these are supposed to be on a timer. Okay, let me turn on all of my lights and cut off all the other lights. All these other lights that I have on in the craft room, and take a look at what it looks like. Okay, here we go. Now I'm not going to turn on, you know, these lights because they're kind of bright, so I'm going to leave those off for the day. And the little ghostie is just so cute, living beside my fairy tree in my bookshelf. I love it. And that is all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed coming along with me for all of the clay ghosties that I made. I think they turned out so cute. The other two are definitely going to be living in this bookcase after Halloween is over. Are they perfect? No, they're not. They do have some imperfections, but anytime I'm trying a new craft, especially one that is new to me that I have never tried before, I don't strive for perfection. I just try to have fun and enjoy making it, and I hope you enjoyed coming along with me. All those YouTubey things, like, comment, subscribe, and click that bell, and I will see you when I see you. Bye, guys.